Damn, Daisy.
What the hell? We are recording. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all.
She's all up in the playroom.
We over here watching the Dodgers game, y'all. Sorry.
I was upset.
Oh my gosh. Why did you do that? Oh my goodness.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we join you right now on October 29th, 2017, on the east side, the side. Right now, we're in the midst of looking at the Dodgers game over here in the background. And they were up 4-0, but now they squared even at 4-4.
Astros just freaking made that
Watching the
home
Dodger game 5 of the World Series. First time that they've been in the World Series since 1988.
29 years, though.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Hello, I'm Daisy O, joining you all for the Oliver Happy Hour.
This is Tabby Jazz, joining in as well.
I didn't think you guys need an introduction. You guys are really all consumed by the game in the background and stuff. This is I would like to say.
I would like to have.
Okay.
Well, we do have a special guest.
Right, we're joined here today by Mr. Nuck If You Buck himself.
Mr. Nuck If You Buck.
Mr. Anthony Buck is back.
And later on we have a special treat for you all with our nephew who's going to be coming in to commandeer our politics section.
Yeah, wonderful.
So the Dodgers are right now in the World Series. It's tied 2-2. I mean, I hope they know what they're about to do right now. It's the bottom of the fourth. So I just hope, by the end of this that we don't have to interrupt ourselves and be screaming at the TV.
Exactly.
I mean, there may be a potential that I may yell. I was at different games recently as well, and I almost threw a chair.
Wow.
And
what?
Wow.
Are you becoming one of those fans? One of those violent
I
fans.
felt like I wanted to throw a chair, and then I think game one of the group of guys that I was with almost got into a fight with one of the other guys. Because I guess he was talking smack. One of the guys, he was for Houston, and then he was talking to smack to.
No, you don't talk crap to a Dodgers fan. You just don't.
He was talking smack, and then another guy threw beer on him like 4 times. And
Four times? Like he went and got 4 beers or something?
No, he really just threw his beer like that, that.
And you wasting your beer.
Wasting his beer, and then they started to get into a little scuffle.
See, it's not worth it.
I've
never understand why fans get so heated
they
like
get upset. They get
like
real upset.
really. It's just a game, y'all. I know y'all probably bet money on this, but
I mean,
dang.
you have alcohol involved.
Right, the key is the alcohol.
Yeah,
right.
you have people get like I showed you that video earlier, Devin, that Snoop Dogg posted on Instagram with that. It was basically a little like basically short man that was being held back by these bodyguards, and the bodyguards were cool. They were just like, man, come on, and he kept slapping their hands away, slap,
right.
And he was just getting all irate. These guys are like this tall, the guy is like this short. They're just like, man, this is like a Latino guy or something like that.
Dude is probably like 5'6".
Let me tell you,
security guard is 6'5".
Right, the security guard is holding him back. A Samoan guy who wasn't even a security guard was just kind of trying to tell him, man, dude, calm down. And then he started to get into the Samoan guy's face. Let me tell you, that Samoan guy hit him with his left hand, not his right. He hit him with his left and then hit him with an elbow. And old dude was like, like
he was slumped. Okay.
The guy who was recording was like, you got knocked out.
I mean, he did. I'm sure he did.
No, he really did.
They had to drag him off.
His body was limp.
Like he was.
I mean, that's what he get.
And that's exactly
Snoop literally, that was his caption. It was like, that's what you get.
Real talk, that's what you get. Talking all that mess, kick you hard.
Yes. That's the name of shit talking.
Oh,
anyway, you don't mess with Dodgers fans, because Dodgers fans are, they're pretty.
I kind of feel like you don't mess with LA fans. I think
LA
fans, no
Lakers,
matter what it is.
Right, we're the people who are on TV burning stuff down when we win.
Like,
when we win, we burn stuff down.
Riot outside of Staples Center.
Why are you destroying things when we won? Okay, I'm many
Right, who
times?
knows what's going to happen over there by Chavez Ravine up in Echo Park and Asian Park.
Look, they need to get
Not
stuff over
gonna
there.
be-
Don't
no
bring it to
one
Union
has
Station,
no
okay?
He's like, don't bring it
Please don't bring it
to
to Union Station.
Oh,
I'm trying
man.
to save my job.
Jeez.
Yo, for real. Yo.
Alright, so
Did you hear what happened with Cardi B? Like
Yeah.
everybody's favorite
everybody's
B?
favorite
She
now.
got a new
Cardi
8-carat
B.
rock.
She got a
Wow.
8 carats of a
I don't
diamond.
know what is up.
Eight
What is
carats?
up with this song? It
Eight.
seems like every time people hear the song, they get hyped.
Okay,
Is it
It's
true?
true.
I
Because
didn't like the
Here,
song
because
at
the
first, but
beginning
it's
of it-
amazing.
It's just so dope. The beginning of it. Say, little, you can fuck with me
If you wanted to.
These expensive.
Hey,
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 hey. It's just a good, like, I don't know. It's just like a good anthem to just rock to.
Make money move.
Hey.
So what happened? So she got engaged to this guy named Offset. Who's Offset?
Offset
Offset
is
is
a
from the
rapper.
Amigos.
Yeah, he's a rapper from the Migos. Well, how long have they been dating though? I have no idea. That's
Only a
what I was
couple
questioning.
months. Not even
This
a
is
year.
new, right? I
Well,
thought
he
it
gave
was
her an
really new.
8-carat diamond. Did you guys see her ring? And he
I
proposed
haven't seen her ring,
to her
but
on stage.
Yo, is
Like,
marriage in? Like, is marriage in? Like, it's like
for all of the
Oh,
hip hop culture? Yeah, all
But
of these
Is
rappers.
it marriage or is it commitment? I'm trying to figure out. Do they come hand in hand?
no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
They don't.
Did I present a
That's
hard
a great
question?
Well.
They don't.
Uh-oh.
They don't.
That's
Yeah.
a critical question
They
that we
could
have
be
to take
married.
some time to think about.
They could be married and still have their little pieces on the side.
Well, that may be the case for a lot of these
Hey.
celebrities.
But
yeah.
it's some people that are actually, committed. Maybe
Yeah.
some rappers that are committed. I
Yeah.
can't think of any. Wait, I'm trying to think.
Who?
Don't do that. Don't disrespect these rappers like that.
Who?
I thought T.I. was a good one, but no, that's not.
No, they have a functional relationship when they break up and make up, right?
Jay-Z's
Jay-Z, but
Jay-Z.
they went through it. But yeah, now he is. Yeah.
I just
Speaking of Jay-Z, he had a concert this weekend, right?
So Nikki, our sister, is in the background as our assistant today, looking up, researching our information. They've been dating since January. Thank you.
Okay, so almost a year.
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
Almost a year they've been dating.
For 10 months.
She
All
deserves an 8-carat diamond.
I wish.
I don't know about
Okay.
that. I don't know.
Hell.
How much did Vanessa Bryant get after Kobe cheated? How much was that? Was that 3 carats? Or that must have been more carats, huh?
4 carats. I think it was like 4.
I
Oh.
think, or
So,
5,
so
I don't know.
Cardi B has an 8-carat diamond.
She has an 8-carat
8
diamond.
carat. But Migos, they're very flashy like that. So I
Right.
could understand why
She
they
got a
went
big
all
old
out
ring.
like that. Yeah. So, Offset, I look, when I first heard about it, I was like, this is just a publicity stunt for me. I was like, this is not going to last.
Well, it
I don't
was
think it's
in
gonna
front
last.
of such a large, like,
Where did he propose
platform.
at?
On stage.
On stage. His
At a concert?
performance?
I think it was
8
her.
carat
Her
purple diamond,
performance.
$4 million.
But that was
$4
Kobe.
million.
So Kobe gave Vanessa Bryant an 8-carat diamond.
Purple diamond.
Oh, 8-carat purple diamond.
Oh.
Okay. For cheating on her.
For
Wow.
cheating.
Well, that wasn't the original ring she got.
No.
No.
No, it
wasn't.
wasn't.
No.
No.
She said, "Now I need another ring." Okay, thank you.
You know, but I mean, good luck to them. I don't know what to say. Congratulations.
Right,
Awesome.
congratulations, and hopefully it does last.
Yeah.
But, considering
Devin is
all
skeptical.
the other situations that I've seen of rappers and celebrities just getting together or whatever, it never lasts. It lasts probably maybe 2 years at the most.
You're
And
pretty
then-
skeptical, Devin.
Yes.
Just
Yeah, I
very.
think a lot of celebrity couples, they don't, it's just like they just kind of fizzle out. Or
Yeah.
they hook up with, even the most couple, I'm thinking of white couples, but.
But, yeah,
I was thinking
like-
of, like Ryan Reynolds and like Scarlett Johansson.
Uh-huh.
He break up with her, then he's with
Another
Blake
actress.
Blake Lively
Uh-huh.
now.
Well, that's what makes me think, like, were they cheating and then dating, like, because my thing is, how do you go from seeing someone for years to dating someone within only a couple of months? Like,
Right.
you had to have been building this other relationship. Because
Right.
you can't just, I don't care what anybody says, regardless of who breaks up with who, there is some emotional
Yeah.
cheating that happens
Yeah.
for you to move on so quickly.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, come on now.
For
It's
sure.
pretty disrespectful.
And then, wait, mind you, Cardi B, she was thinking about, or she was engaged to her ex that was in jail.
Oh, she was?
Yes.
Right now?
No, I'm not saying, but she obviously, ended that. But
wouldn't that be funny if she was engaged and then she got proposed?
Oh God. No, she was actually engaged to a dude.
Who?
Huh?
Gucci Mane wedding.
Oh, I didn't see.
I didn't
Gucci
see it,
Mane's
but
wedding.
it wasn't
What
all
about
white
it?
event.
Oh yeah,
Gucci
we
Mane
didn't
flashy.
bring it up.
Yeah, so he had a
Real
special
Gucci.
on BET this past, not this
No,
past.
it was
It
like
was
2 weeks
it was
ago.
2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago.
2 Sundays
I
ago.
heard BET did a really horrible job.
I
It was
didn't see
pretty
it.
good, though.
Of
I
what?
didn't see it.
Like they said that the quality wasn't that good.
Oh no.
The quality was pretty bad.
The
Really?
quality? What? I thought he was
Quality of
spending some
BET.
like millions on the wedding.
That's
And
what
you're
they
saying that
said.
the quality didn't look that good
That's
on
crazy.
TV?
On TV, they said that. Well, this is what I heard from people who watched it because I didn't see it. But the quality wasn't that great from BET's production side. The wedding was very small and intimate. There was barely like any space for people to sit.
Right.
So everybody looked like they were like kind of
What?
scrunched up in the small, and it was in a hotel banquet hall.
Excuse me.
So it wasn't really like that much room.
Uh-huh.
It was. I mean, I can tell like an intimate small wedding or whatnot.
So,
but,
Yeah.
so,
so they spent all that money, but I
right.
was like,
Or are they
but
lying
did
about
they-
how much they
what-
spent?
I think
I
they're
was
not.
like,
I
but
think
did they really?
I don't think they spent that much money, and I
I don't
also
think
think
so.
BET endorsed some of that money.
Yes.
I
Right.
think some of that they fronted some of that money for that wedding
Yeah.
No,
with
they-
their
they-
film.
I
to
like-
get up
I
the
agree.
filming and whatever. Yeah,
I agree. But Devin, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I don't even remember.
but it wasn't all white event, and y'all know how I feel about white.
Yeah.
It looked. I mean, from
Her dress looked
from a
She
venue
looked
standpoint,
amazing.
it looked nice. Her dress was nice.
Mm-hmm.
From what that's what I've seen from pictures, but I didn't hear
I've
about
seen.
it.
I mean, I
It
just
didn't
looked
look
at all the
quality.
pictures
Yeah.
on Instagram, and
Yeah.
I loved
That's
her
what I've seen.
dress. They cut the
Yeah.
cake with the sword because the cake was so huge. Did you guys see that?
Wow.
You guys
BET
didn't see
definitely
that?
No, I
fronted
didn't
some of
see
that.
Oh my gosh, they had a sword, like a
What?
literal samurai sword to
I
cut
cannot.
the-
Gucci Mane be so extra, and I feel like I like his new album, Mr. Davis. I do like it because he has a lot of features on it, and like he has one with Chris Brown. I really like that song, and I feel like Gucci Mane, he is just like he's an average like performer.
He is.
Just like because I follow his snaps, so. I don't really like look at all of them. I just be tapping through them because it's just be him at concerts and he just be like,
So he's not like a-
he's no hype artist. Like he just be walking across the stage from one side to the other, and then his wife is like recording sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, you need to come better with like more hype. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I mean, that is one thing I'll give Jay-Z. He is
Yeah.
an amazing performer.
Have you seen
as a
you seen him
rapper.
perform?
I've seen him perform at the
Yeah,
Jay-Z
at
Beyonce concert.
Beyonce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
On
at the On the Run tour.
He was-
That
I
one,
had
he was
I had
good.
gotten tickets to go see Jay-Z at right when Barclays open for $40. But I had to go. I remember I had to go to an RA meeting. I should have called out
Oh, you
sick.
should have called
Why
out.
did
It was only
you?
$40 too.
why did you go out
Yeah,
there?
he was
You
doing, like, a
cannot
special.
miss
Oh,
something
This
my
was
like
like
that.
this was like 2011, 2012.
I mean,
like that.
that is what I give Jay-Z his performance. Like as a
Elijah
rapper,
went
he's
to
pretty,
the concert on Friday.
he's pretty good.
He said
I
it
heard.
was
Did he
amazing.
He's
cancel?
very engaging.
Didn't he cancel a show? I heard that he had canceled a show.
Oh, I don't know.
Was it?
about
I don't know if
that.
it was this week. Obviously, it was this weekend show, but I heard he had canceled a show.
But I don't know. I mean, in comparison to a lot of rappers that are out today, I will say that like rappers like Jay-Z who have been in the game for a long time, you know, does a good job. So
Anyway, so anyway, Jay-Z. I don't know. I still have like a little love-hate relationship with Jay-Z.
oh, do
but-
you really, Darren?
Yeah, he's okay. You know, he's cool. But why don't we dive into some new music?
Okay.
So I heard this new track from Keisha Cole. It's with Kamaya, our favorite little LA transplant who comes out with some, you know, pretty good sounding stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It sounds good already. she flipped it, Tupac.
Yeah.
Oh, I did hear this on the radio. Not the radio. I heard this on my new music.
I like it. I like where she
I was wondering who this was. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is off of her new album called 1111 Reset.
So it's definitely Tupac. Come with me. Help me, nigga. One quick scene.
Mm-hmm. What do we have in now? Do you wanna ride it up?
Hopefully this CD is close to her first CD, because I do have to say Keisha Cole, her first CD and the CDs all in between were not good. So
Well, she wasn't going through nothing.
They were not.
She wasn't going through nothing.
But no, she did admit to her. She was like, dang, like my fans don't support me when I'm happy. Like I wish y'all would support
You know
me
what?
when I'm happy.
But you know what? I don't think it was not a support. It was more so you came with this banging CD, your first CD, like you was so good, and then you little by little, every CD you started falling off.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it started with well, yeah, her second album was what? It was no. Her second album was A Different Me? No, that was her third album. Her second album was Just Like Me. Just like You.
Just like you.
Because it had this as the title
Right.
of the first track.
Right. And it was always like one song on the CD that was like good.
That was
the
good.
rest was just
The rest
like,
was
okay,
like,
whatever.
Oh, see,
Right.
I never listened to her albums.
Yeah, I mean, this was
a hit though.
This was really like the hottest track on the album.
It was.
That
And then the
was
rest
it.
was
Oh
just,
man.
this one is
And they played this track out.
Ow. They still playing it though.
Right, no, they do. They still play in the club. What she say? I don't want your man. But I got it like that.
And it ain't even gotta be like that.
Hey.
Oh, but baby, fat. Listen. And then her first verse.
Right.
I understand why you want to try.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt this to announce that the Dodgers have made a 3-run home run tonight.
Hello.
And right now, they lead
7-4.
7-4 at the top of the fifth. At the top of the fifth, right now in Houston.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for that
Go Dodgers.
You know, I hate, by the way, to talk about the World Series real quick, I hate Joe Buck. Joe Buck is the commentator for Fox. This guy is kissing, he's kissing the ass of the Astros constantly.
Oh, wow.
Screw you, Joe Buck.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Thanks,
Oh,
Joe.
Screw ya.
Over here hating on the
Can't be
LA
messing
Dodgers.
around. Last name Buck. You hear me messing around like that?
I'm sorry.
Last name Buck. I can't.
I know, right. We have a buck in our midst.
Can't be messing around.
We have a buck in our midst.
Oh,
Anyway.
Lord.
Anyway, this other track is actually from Bootsy Collins. I don't know if you guys know who Bootsy Collins is, but
This
Bootsy
thing
Collins.
way back.
He started out as a bassist for James Brown.
Right.
Then he went on to join Parliament and Funkadelic with George Clinton. And now he came back with this new track called Hot Saucer with Music Soul Child and Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, this is funky.
Funky. Okay.
You don't hear music like this.
Get on down with the funk. Come on.
Hey. Hey.
Give me the phone.
Go.
Phone.
Hey.
Give me the color greens. Come on.
Right. Okay.
Oh, Thanksgiving. Come on, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
Thanksgiving coming up now. Give me that collard green. Give me that cornbread.
Collard greens and
That
cornbread.
good yam. Okay. Them green beans. The
Give me the
potatoes.
yams.
That mac and cheese.
Don't do that.
Hot Saucer.
Yeah, I could bump this in the car for
Oh,
real.
this gonna be the Thanksgiving hit.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks, get real boy.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
I'm gonna give it a collard greens.
it's a cool showing of, got a little old school. Well, Music Soul Child ain't that old, but Big Daddy Kane is kind of old. But Bootsy Collins, he's old.
I love the merge though.
Right,
I love the merge.
I love the merge of the
I
generation.
love the merge.
They they have made magic.
That's
with this song.
wonderful though. That's good.
And not just the generations, but the genre.
Yeah, generations and the genre.
That's interesting.
This is definitely a magical song. I really like it.
Great collab.
Totally.
All right, so up next, so we have this other track by this person, Iman Omari. It's called Kama Sutra.
Is that right?
I've heard this name before. Iman Omari.
Y'all know what Kama Sutra is.
Explain
So this is sexy. Oh, Kama Sutra.
This is really sexy.
I'm not gonna explain it.
Don't explain it, not right now.
Not right now.
You know, our nephew was in the building.
Oh.
And go
Yes.
into
You have to, that's correct. You're right. You're right.
He knows what it is.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh,
Okay, never mind. We're still not going into
We're not
it.
going
Right,
into
we're
that.
not gonna go into it.
Don't read all those books.
Don't read all of them.
The Zane books.
All the Zane books.
Oh my God.
Nikki will read. She will read 2 books in a day.
We
Okay.
got a collection.
Really, Nikki?
Yes.
She was not.
Nikki got a collection. Who was it? Nikki Zane. And,
Omar Tyree.
Omar Tyree.
What's the one?
It was
Oh, I remember Omar Tyrese.
Eric
Jerome Dickey.
Eric
Jerome
Dickey.
No,
Now,
I'm a
even
Harris.
that is my
Even Harris.
school.
Stop
Even
being love that.
I love milk in my coffee.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Who wrote the Heat Seekers? Was that Eric Jerome Dickey or was that
No, that was Zane.
Oh, that was Zane?
Yeah.
Oh, that was our first one, huh? That was Zane's first book, the
I
Heat
think
Seekers.
yeah.
I read down.
Listen.
I read down. I took that one from Dominic, and I read down. I think I was like in 8th grade. I was like,
Oh my God.
man. I was like, what a page turner.
What a page turner. Yeah, those books got real. Okay. Yeah.
People waiting for bodies on the school bus. Saying, Darren, what are you over there reading?
Like you would not want to freaking put it down. And every time I would have to go to the bathroom, I would be like, oh my gosh, like I gotta go to the bathroom. Hold on.
I would
Hurry up.
take the
I
book
need to
with
get
me,
back.
like, well.
No, I didn't want to put that.
Isn't it beautiful? Black novelists out there. Black
I know. Let's talk about that next time. Black novelists that like changed our lives.
Yes.
But then also the newer ones.
You know, I love me some.
I think there's some new ones that are out.
Black writers.
Well, I guess this is a calling, a call out for writers.
I haven't read any new black
I haven't either.
romance. I haven't even read
I mean,
any
romance
black
novels. Yeah.
I mean, besides like what everybody talk about. I mean, maybe I don't read enough. Maybe that's the key. to
Eric
it.
Jerome Dickey
That's
still right.
That's definitely.
Eric Jerome Dickey still writing?
Is Zane still writing?
No, I didn't see
No.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Remember they had that show on Showtime?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Was
after
it?
hours.
Just
Yeah,
Zane.
the
Sex
after-
Problem,
yeah,
right?
right.
That was Cinemax.
Yeah.
Cinemax.
It was cinema. Oh,
Yeah.
Cinemax.
Yeah.
One of them needs to bring it back because
Right, because that show was
amazing.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. I didn't want you to
I didn't watch it either, Darren.
You can't understand
Darren, any more music? This is a good song.
No. That's all. That's all.
All right.
Yeah. So what about TV though? Like, have you guys been looking at TV lately?
Yeah.
Like,
What?
what's been new?
I mean,
guys-
I just. What, Devin?
I mentioned
Queen
my show
Sugar.
Queen Sugar. You know, I really want y'all
I
to see
seen
this
one
show.
episode
I
of
still
Queen
have
Sugar,
not
and it was
seen
good,
I still
but I didn't watch. I didn't
You
continue to
guys
watch.
really have to see it.
Okay, I guess I
It
gotta
is
watch
so
it.
freaking
It's on
good.
It's on Hulu now, so.
You have to watch it then.
Okay.
Is it on
for
Netflix?
real. It's on its
I
third
don't think it's on
season now.
No.
It's on its third season, and every episode is relatable, and you could definitely like leave or finish the episode and say like, dang, I either been through that situation, or I know somebody that's going through that situation, or like, dang, like that's just like that situation.
Oh, really? I
Because
guess I gotta check it out.
it's just so good.
I mean, I guess
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Well,
Okay, so just give me
I
a
don't
general
really watch
idea of
much
what
TV.
the
Yeah, real
show.
quick, Devin,
What does it
real
mean?
quick.
Like, what is it talking about?
Real quick.
It's a family that owns a sugar
sugar cane.
a sugar cane, and obviously, and there's they're in New Orleans, and it's the owner of the sugar cane is a woman now, and she took over her father's sugar cane, but there's white owners
that are trying to take over the business.
that are trying to take, or they don't appreciate her coming in trying to take over. And
Because
she's
she's
the
a
first
woman?
woman. She's the first black woman.
Okay.
And they just hate on her. She's trying to progress, and she has a white mother.
Okay.
So like she's a product of her father cheating on the mother of the other two children.
Cheating on his black wife with
Yes.
a white woman?
But
Right.
she became the heir of the sugarcane
Right.
plantation.
Because she was involved with the basketball player. She was married to a basketball player, and she was his manager. So she had that status. So she was able to put money into it.
I see.
So, and then she has a brother that is, he's trying to take care of his family. He has a son. His wife, or his fiance now, she is clean off of drugs from like, I don't know, she's been clean for like 2 years. So she's, coming back and they're trying to get their family going, but they have drama amongst them. Like she just told him that their son might not be his. So it's more,
drama.
it's just drama coming.
And this is the show with Ava DuVernay as one of the.
And Oprah is
the producer. And I heard that they have a bunch of a lot of female directors.
Yes.
That like every episode
And that's
female director.
exactly, and that's why the actresses were saying like it's perfect because the director, they have that support from the director, knowing like that they could be themselves, or not be themselves, but create the. I don't know how to explain.
Well, no,
I got it.
Yeah,
I got
I think
it.
what you're saying, because I think it relates to another show on HBO called The Deuce. And The Deuce covers
I heard
Maggie
about that
Gyllenhaal, and it has James Franco in it as well. Method Man is in there as a pimp.
What?
Yeah, no, it's actually a really good show. I'm kind of really getting into it. So the
Really?
first episode was a little long, but it's basically set in the 70s. And it's basically covering around how 42nd Street Times Square, kind of how
Oh, wow.
in the days of smut when they had adult film houses and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So basically Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's a prostitute, a woman up the street, but she doesn't have a pimp. So
I heard about this.
it's covering like, okay, well, how hard is she like trying to get by not having a pimp? This is covering the stories as well as these other pimps who got their girls out there working the streets. But Maggie, I forget her character's name, but the one without the pimp, she is going into like film, into porn.
Okay.
While I like back then it was you could only make porn through a feature film, and that's why it was shown at these adult movie houses. So she's kind of going into it differently. I mean, it's really great. Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's one of the producers. So I was listening to her talk on NPR about how it's like a refreshing perspective in that like they're not trying to overexploit the women again.
Right.
In the presentation.
Right.
But as an actress, she was like, well, I'm not trying to make the scenes less sexy. But it's pretty graphic, so kids who want to execute crime judgment on letting them watch this historical drama.
But that's the whole purpose of that. They try to make it real as possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So you have to
it's
give
a
the
very,
character.
very compelling story.
That's cool. And then Stranger Things just came out on Netflix. Stranger Things is it's season 2 of Stranger Things. It's about these like young kids. It kind of reminds me of it reminds me of like the geek kind of nerd era with what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Ghostbusters, but it's really not. Like, but these
It's a group of kids.
these young boys are coming together to try to like
figure out
solve mysteries,
Okay.
or at least talk about it, and they become
Yeah.
like invested in it. So a lot of, I would say, the geek nerd culture is like is really invested in this show. So Stranger Things season 2 is out on Netflix,
Sounds interesting.
and they said Walking Dead is
Walking Dead just came out.
I don't really watch that show,
It just started.
but
It just started last
I
week.
guess this is the season finale. It's the season finale, so
This is the last season.
is this the last season? I don't know if it's the season finale, but I keep saying that, but it's the series finale.
It's not the last season.
Oh, okay.
They haven't announced when the last season will happen. So I've been watching The Walking Dead. Basically, I started watching it on TV at season 5.
What season is it on now?
8.
Oh, okay.
So I had to catch up on Netflix and stuff. So I watched it because originally I was interested in all the hype around it. I was like, well, it doesn't look that interesting, just the zombies and things like that. So I got into it, and then I learned it was like more about people and stuff like that. But now that I've gotten to the 8th season, I realize they've run out of scenarios. Because it's always, they go to a place, they think they're safe, then some people come, destroy that place, then they're all out on the road. Then they find a place, they think they're safe, some people destroy it. And
then, it's the same story over and over.
Basically with different
scenarios.
Different
characters, different
places and stuff, and how to get there. So in season 8, it's starting to feel a bit like
repetitive.
Well, maybe that's why in my mind I said it was a season or series finale, because I'm like, well, how much further can they go?
Right.
At this point. Yeah, I know.
So
point.
episode 1 of season 8, I give it like a good 5 out of 10.
Wow. 5 out of 10.
I give it that because I was forcing myself to get through it.
You were underwhelmed.
Like I was super underwhelmed. I mean, it was.
He said, "Ooh."
I mean, speaking of The Walking Dead, Halloween is coming up on Tuesday, and we have a bunch of children going out getting some trick or treats. And you all mentioned that there's some families asking to give out fruit snacks.
You know, I'm on social media, so I'm going down my timeline and I see this picture of somebody. They commented like, "Come on now, carrot sticks, like really." So the list, it was a parent that posted a list of health conscious snacks or whatever. So the note, it said, I know parents like to give out candy, but I would like for you guys to be conscious of the kids that are allergic to certain things. Then so it was like a list of 5 different things,
or
stuff like that.
Allergic to
sugar. Well, because we got to be inclusive.
Like
for
dairy,
everything.
right? The dairy, the people that are allergic to dairy, and
that's exactly why you just fill up your child's
right.
own bucket.
Exactly.
They don't know.
Exactly.
But you still take them trick or treating and then take out everything else.
Exactly.
And then you eat it as the parent.
Like, how come you? Like,
no,
really, you really?
Don't make me. I mean, that's too hard. I mean, I'm gonna just try. I haven't even bought a can. I need to go out and go to Winco or something and get some nice Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Pops.
I'm not down to get all them Hershey Kisses and all
them
Hershey Mars bars and Reese Pieces and stuff like that. I tried to do that last year. It cost too much money.
Yeah.
I had to go back and forth to the dollar store trying to get me some old Reese Pieces to put together. This year, I'm gonna just get some Tootsie Rolls, some Blow Pops. Some of them sour candy apple suckers. Maybe get some of them old strawberry granny candies and some butterscotch mints. And
then
throw some peppermints in there, and it's gonna be a nice little medley for them.
Right.
You have a lot to choose from.
Exactly.
I mean, what kid has a preference on candy? I don't know any child, but they will eat it all.
But if the concern is that you don't want your kids to have candy or certain candies, then simply just keep your children in the home.
Right.
That part.
That's a good idea.
Keep them at home.
That's a good
idea. Anthony, didn't you do, y'all had like a little treat?
Like last year, me and my family, we don't celebrate Halloween. My kids are allowed to dress up, but they do not go out just for safety reasons.
Yeah.
But at the house, we simply, here's candy, here's snacks, here's fun, here is a little biblical teaching.
Y'all did.
And then
a biblical teaching.
A little Bible reference, and then we had fun. But if you're concerned that you don't want your kids to have unhealthy snacks, then buy them healthy snacks, keep them at home.
Right.
Simple.
But I'm saying, you had they had went door to door.
They went door to door in the house. Yeah, door to door in the house. We had adults and
cute.
friends at the home. People brought their kids over, and they trick or treat. Like, we ain't going outside. It's dangerous. I value my kids' life, and I don't want them to be outside at nighttime with the crazies, and so we do.
Well, I mean, and I was gonna say it's a lot of older adults that dress up. I was looking at all of the costumes.
They do.
Right.
I was looking at all of the costumes of like the adults. Like, why are you dressing up as a devil?
Right.
Like, this is really strange.
Yo, it's a lot of adults who enjoy Halloween more than kids do.
They do.
There's so many adults
and
now.
that's true.
And when we were kids, it was not this many adults out there.
It was
not.
Not until we became adults did adults start wanting to be a kid again.
Right.
I think it's so, like, a lot of my friends do like to dress up, and I'm like, you guys have a good time. That's awesome. No judgment whatsoever. I personally have never liked it. I'm like, they're like, what are you gonna dress up as? I'm like, nothing. It's not my thing.
I mean, Daisy, one of your friends, they even asked us, like, what are we gonna be for Halloween? And we was like, what? Like, we do that?
I don't really think about that at all. So,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Granted, it is fun.
It's fun.
It's
you
nice.
know, sometimes when you do it, it's great. I would be Catwoman. I'm not gonna lie. I get a little tight black suit.
But no, she's literally Catwoman.
Because I'm a cat mom. I'm a cat mom.
Exactly.
So I have to be Catwoman.
Cat mom, guys.
I'm a cat mom. I have to be Catwoman.
Jesus.
Duh.
But Darren, you brought up a very good point. A lot of those are. I went to a Halloween party just last night, and people just really get involved in like wearing Halloween costumes. I mean, it's like the one night that you could be as naked as possible, and it's okay.
As naked as possible.
It's okay because that's your costume. Like that's weird.
Man, I ain't trying to be Peter
Listen,
Pan and stuff.
Right, y'all.
I saw on Facebook tutorials of how to like do like the makeup. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you had like cuts in your neck or something, or like did something on your face. Anyways, but last night I saw this guy. I don't know what he was, but why did he have on some silver spandex,
Oh God.
some tights, and like some wings? Like, what are you, sir? What are you, sir?
Right.
He's a bug.
He was a bug. He
A
was
bug
a
or
bug.
an
He
angel?
Fairy,
had
fairy.
some wings.
Yes.
He was a fairy.
He had some
Fairy.
white wings. It was like little butterfly wings.
Oh no.
Oh, he was a fairy.
Oh my gosh, I'm with that. Like,
What are you, sir?
He was a
Sit
fairy.
down.
Well, I mean, I like, I don't know. Should I just get out of bed and just wear my sheets?
Pretty much.
Basically, Darren.
I don't know. I don't have
More
white
so
sheets,
like
I
this-
have.
Are you
Oh,
gonna just, I was
they
gonna
do
say you put a
withdrawals.
whole sheet and put eyes in it. You can just be a ghost.
Right.
I can't be a white knight.
Oh, God.
Be a wild night.
I'll be the white knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
No.
All right. You want me to get some of them torches from Target? Give me some of that gasoline. Some of that gasolina.
Oh,
I'm not very much gasolina.
Should I wear a belt?
Gasolina.
Can I wear a belt around my nice shoe?
You're mad.
From Neiman Marcus.
Neiman Marcus.
Got my Neiman Marcus dress wear on right here.
Dress wear.
All up over my head.
I cannot.
I'm rolling.
Okay.
We're gonna switch up topics.
No. Well, before we end,
before we do,
I heard that they were like, oh, well, we're afraid because we're hearing that some people passing out candy are going to be passing out edible gummies out to kids. I'm trying to figure out if they did that was maybe a mistake.
Right, exactly.
Who would purposely waste their edibles if they went and spent some money on them trying to like give it to some kids?
Exactly. I wouldn't be trying to. Them things is like
them kids are
$15.
smart. Them kids probably gonna sell it anyway.
Exactly.
Sell it to their dad or their uncle.
oh my
Like,
god.
no, this smells different.
Well, at least, yeah.
Well, parents, make sure you just examine your kids.
Exactly. Make sure it doesn't have any labels on it.
No, yeah, just check it. Make sure, don't give your kids a candy, let them
White
eat
labels.
it. Just make sure you know what it is.
Says
Well, that is
THC.
something I do appreciate about our parents is like as soon as we got home, they made us like pour out the entire thing
They did.
and like spread out all of our candy before we were able to eat it.
Right.
Well, that was for you
mad.
guys. I don't remember going trick or treating, but like 2 times. There was only 3 houses on the block that was open. I got candy from Vandy. I got candy from like Velma. I feel like down the street, and there was one other family. Ain't nobody was.
Yeah, well, because by then
You what, by
we were
then?
like going to church instead.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think by then people had gotten
Holy Week
shot.
nights.
People, I think the neighborhood had gotten a little bit bad back in
Right,
97,
right,
98.
right.
They
You're
wanted
right.
to go out.
You're right.
But see, back in the day, they was doing that whole putting razors in candies and stuff like
Right,
that.
everybody was
or-
scared.
Oh, yeah, they were.
So now I
That's
guess
true.
it's edibles. be careful of the edibles. Don't be careful
Yeah,
of razors.
I don't understand these sick people that do that.
Yeah.
But I will be giving out candy out here. So I will be giving
Awesome.
it to the little ones.
Remember to turn on your
Light.
your
Porch
light,
light.
your
Yeah,
porch light.
I'll be hanging out there. Oh, hey, come on down.
Come on down, yes.
Guys, I hope I don't. That probably sounds a little strange, but I'm just out there just like, hey, you know. go get some
Right,
candy.
come on down.
Are you gonna
Right.
wear a costume, Darren?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, no costume. No
In your
costume.
fancy
I got one you can borrow if you want to.
So we're gonna head into a little bit of politics.
Politics.
A little bit of
Switch it up.
politics.
Yeah, we should have a little thing for politics.
Like a little entry, like dun dun dun.
Right.
Put the Law and Order little,
Right.
That'd be cool.
So we have a special treat in that our nephew Jalen is going to recite us his poem that he performed for his school.
Yeah, I performed for my school. So the whole point of this poem was, so we had an assignment for school to think about counter narratives in American society. And so basically what a counter narrative is the other perspective of the dominant perspective, which is basically like everything America is like good. Like if you listen to like the Star Spangled Banner, or America the Beautiful, Purple's Mountains, Majesties, Gracious Skies, Amber Waves of Grain, it paints like a beautiful picture of America. And our job was to paint the other side show the other side of America that the dominant perspective doesn't like to talk about. Yeah, so that's what my poem was about. So I guess I'll start reading it here. It's called Trapped in Yourself. Okay. I'm trapped and there's no escape. Something's blocking my view. Why is everything slightly askew? What could it be that's blocking me from being able to see? I know I've seen greener pastures, but I'm still here. Some say you can escape through pictures, but I look up and I'm still here. I'm trapped and I can't find the key to freedom. This place gets smaller with each passing glance. The U.S. is a trap. I feel trapped here, but how could that be? How could you be trapped in the land of the free? 3,000 miles from east to west, from Maui to Augusta, you're still trapped like a slave in Alabama. Then I see it. Propaganda saying yay, USA, corrupts your mind each day, transforming you into just another slave for the good old USA. Brains washed into the gutter, eyes chained to the TV. Paralysis takes over your body. It's too late. Uncle Sam has taken your self-control, flipping your brain to think US versus them. The news shows our destruction and labels it as their destruction. The world is going to hell. Keep them out. Go back to where you came from. Division, segregation, discrimination, isolation. US versus them. Greed is good. Money equals power. Respect is earned through fear. US rules them. Why send soldiers to war when we have war right here? Modern citizens walking through streets with a little bit of fear. So much violence that makes your grandma shed a tear. Speaking of tears, how many did we shed in the 200 plus years it took for America to be bred? Why go to Iraq when we can go to Chirac, sell a little crack and still have a high chance of getting shot in the back? You and me, we're all stuck in a system that doesn't care for us, like the 4 million slaves who helped build this country and receive no credit, or the 3,000 Native Americans that died while having their livelihood taken away. Agony and pain is the name of the game in the USA. Do you really want to be in a country that forces you to take pills to chill? Medication has a reputation of doing more harm than good. You can see it if you just open your eyes, expose yourself to the doctor's manipulative lies. Only in America can something meant for good kill more Americans in 1 year than the Vietnam War. Only in America can the pale and putrid hand of corporate greed dictate the health and well-being of citizens in this country. Only in America can you fight to protect the freedom of the country and still get treated like yesterday's garbage. Only in America, the ones who are meant to serve and protect, enslave and destroy. So yeah, I want to hear an American poem, and I want you to hear an American poem, too. But we can't. Nobody can hear us, because we're all trapped and enclosed by the huge wall of greed, patriotism, ignorance, nationalism, selfishness, isolation, and hysteria. That is America. But I salute you, America. for always showing us the real you, no matter how black or blue. It's just you, the true red, white, and blue. Then.
Hey.
Wow,
Jalen.
Yeah.
That was deep.
That was amazing.
That was so good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Y'all, when
That's
he
so
performed
awesome.
this, Nikki, she had sent me the video of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, yes, he has to come on the podcast. and
Totally.
share.
No. Yeah, in all seriousness,
Amazing.
Jalen, your Auntie Daisy showed me it and I started crying.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I shed a few tears. It was really beautiful.
That was
It
really
amazing.
good.
It's
It
so
was
good,
really
Jalen.
good.
You
Thank
did
you.
such an
Very good.
excellent job.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Excellent job.
Where did that come from? Where did
So
you
what
learn
is-
that?
So what inspired this?
So it's interesting because originally I was gonna write a poem about being black in America, right? And then I was like, I started writing. I got like a few stanzas in. I was like, you know what? Too many people are gonna be writing this anyway. Too many people are gonna be writing about how about the oppression of being black in America and being a minority and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go a different route. So I deleted it. And then after cross-country practice, I was waiting for my dad for about 30 minutes. And so I had my computer with me, so I just sat down at our lunch table and I started typing while listening to music. And I got about 5 stanzas written down. And then after that, I was like, okay, that's a good start. And then I didn't think too much about it. And then I would be in the shower, and I'll be talking to myself in my head. There'll be music like playing while I'm taking a shower. I'll be basically like rapping to myself. I'll be like, whoa, that sounds good. I need to get out of here. And so I would get out the shower, and then I would start typing stuff up and things like that.
That's great, Jalen. That's awesome.
And
It's
so,
important to write things down.
Things got on my-
So you said that you've written other poems too.
yeah, I've written other poems too for English class. Last year I wrote a poem about being alone, and we had to make a video for it. And the video came out really well.
Oh, great.
And the teachers liked it and stuff.
That's good.
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 Right.
Well, your aunties and uncle are very proud of you. I'm sure
Very
your mom,
proud.
our sister, of course, is
I'm
very
proud too.
proud.
Your dad is proud.
We're all proud of you, Jalen. Thank you for sharing with us today.
I
You
know.
did amazing.
Thanks.
Amazing.
Keep on, Jalen. Keep writing.
Yeah, my mom called my dad and asked if he helped me write it.
Oh, but he didn't. You
No,
wrote it
he didn't.
yourself.
No, that's some wisdom right from your son, Nikki.
Yes.
Out of the baby's mouth.
Out of the baby's mouth.
Right here.
No, I loved it. I loved every
I
part
wanted
of it.
Yes.
No,
Was
no,
there
yeah. Huh?
was there like a specific line or something like in this?
No, I mean when it's
Well,
like
I mean,
when it's
Jalen,
like
it
when
just
you.
flows very well.
No, I think at the end when you confront and say, well, I mean, like what are we all here for? Like what are we saluting towards?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Right.
I mean, I think in the Washington Post, it actually talked about that a little bit, and that surveys are showing now that we're at our most divided time since the Vietnam War. I mean, and not only that, but you have people who just don't trust any of the institutions anymore. You don't have anybody trusting any politician because it's all set in our minds that most of the politicians are corrupt. And they're only going to do anything to win.
Exactly.
You know that the criminal justice system is
Broken.
squash. You know, it's not there to help or support. We have a
Instead of-
Supreme Court. Even at our highest court is partisan. So how can you expect everything else? How can you expect our whole country to be judged when they believe in an ideology that is opposed to how we want to live our lives?
Right.
And when it's come from an ideology at that is not succinct with even trained people who are come from a trained theological institute. So you have all these lay people who are taking control of churches and stuff like that, who have no biblical training. So what ends up coming out? Oh, well, we got to protect our morals and our values and our beliefs, our values. That's the most important thing is our values. and then you realize, well, what the heck was your value?
Right.
Well, your grandparents, what did they believe in besides beating niggas over the head with a baseball bat if they looked at them funny? What is your values that you actually stand for? A black kid is whistling at a white woman. Let's hang him.
Power, money, and control.
Let's not give these black people any jobs or any money or anything to support themselves or even get a loan to buy their own house or even a loan to buy their own car. We'll give them our used ones.
Oppression.
It's just like those...
At a higher interest rate.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those flyers that say, like, hire American? It's, like, specific jobs that, like, immigrants do.
Yeah.
So I saw one that was, like, a poster for... hire, it was like, the news headline was like, hire only American landscaping ends up being a bunch of immigrants. Because, because nobody's going to do that work.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to do that work.
Who wants to do some of that hard stuff? I mean, and that's the real question is a lot of Americans, they don't.
They think they're above it. You know what I mean? They think that they're above it.
Especially for a low pay.
Well, no, I mean, a lot of those co-workers and stuff like that, they make a lot more money than I do. I mean, so I can understand why they're all complaining that they want their job back. But they better pick up a mop just like I would have to do and start working. You know, just like everybody else had to do. They had to go find a job, you know, not complain and want the government to come help them out. Because we've been saying that for years. And what have they said? Not jack.
You don't get no help.
Ain't got no job, ain't got a sustaining job program, ain't got a sustaining job program that connects you to a good job. Yet in still cold country wants us to kill the environment so they can have something to do. Why don't you go clean up your streets and some of them drug addicts you guys got falling over? Got in emergency rooms. Got in emergency rooms right now. And up in the emergency room right now, I heard that they got to order special cold storage units to come in next to their hospitals because they got so many dead bodies coming in because they're over there taking drugs constantly. If we want a war on drugs, put a war over there in middle America. Start locking their asses up. Start seeing really what's going to happen. Well, we need sympathy for these people. These poor, sick people. But we still got people right now in prison right now, rotting their asses off because they sold a nickel bag.
Right.
We got people right now over there dead in graves and stuff like that because they decided, our government decided they were going to funnel in some drugs just so they could get some side money to go fight an unauthorized war.
Oh, dear, you got me rocking back and forth.
You got me rocking back and forth. No, it's just ridiculous. I get all of that from your point, Jalen, because it's gotten to the point where it's like, you know, I'm sick. You know, I'm sick of it. You know, and people say, well, we're all divided about stuff. We really got to unite around, you know, let's look at the Big Bang Theory together or something like that. Well, what are you talking about? If I sit up in a bar and have a beer with you, so yeah, we can have a good old conversation, but what's going to happen, you know, what's going to happen after that? You still going to go settle in your own ways, you know, and what? I'm probably going to settle in my own ways.
Yeah, I mean, and just to go back, the heroin opioid epidemic right now is really huge. I read in a news article today that said that 2 best friends died on the same day. They were neighbors. They had disconnected from each other. They had lost their, like, I guess they weren't like friends as much before as they were before, but they literally died on the same day. The speculation is that they bought from the same drug dealer because they were friends, and they suspect that whatever drug they took on the same day made both of them die. And they're neighbors. They live in the same neighborhood right down the street from each other. Died on the same day. Yeah, that's sad.
Because they probably mixing some of that stuff.
They mix something that's happening.
Tranquilizers. They don't even know what they, you know, all that fentanyl and stuff like that.
Right. These are teenage boys. These are teenage boys. These, I mean, young. I would say 18, 19.
So what Trump did this past week, I guess, to bring it even back to politics and actually what the administration is doing, is that Trump did sign an executive order declaring that it's a big issue, but he didn't provide any funding for them to solve this big issue. So all he did was just bring attention to it by tweet and by him talking about it. He's saying, well, this is a big problem.
It's very big.
It's a very big problem. My brother was an alcoholic.
He died.
I know this has nothing to do with heroin, but my brother was an alcoholic, a good man. He was a good man. A good man.
Idiot.
I don't drink.
Oh God!
I don't believe that. I don't believe that Donald Trump doesn't drink. If you looked at him on election night, he looked like he was plastered. Maybe he was on some cocaine instead of some alcohol, but he didn't look like he was his regular delusional self. But anyway,
He is a sociopath.
anyway, I digress. I think just to catch up with other things.
What else is happening in politics?
Well, the GOP they're presenting a tax reform bill that they're trying to pass through Congress. They're going to try and ram it through Congress before the end of the year, just so they can have something to say that they did. Because most of the laws and legislations that they did has been repealing stuff that Obama did.
Right.
So you can't really say that you did so much when you passed a bill that said, "Oh, well, we're just gonna. This bill is to erase some of this stuff." Great job, guys. Great job. Great job. We marked out some of these things in this bill, so we're doing a great job. But when it comes to actually coming up with new and innovative ideas, they're coming up short.
They're trash.
No, of course they're trash. So the new GOP tax plan, what's controversial is that they're going to reduce the amount that you can contribute to your IRA account. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be reduced from like $18,000 to like $5,000, like $2,500.
Really? What?
Wow.
So that's going to be the maximum amount that you can get pre-tax. Potentially, they're thinking as well about getting rid of the mortgage interest rate.
They're really trying to make middle America non-existent.
No, they don't. They don't
want anyone to grow up to move up the social.
No. Well, that's the point.
The economic ladder.
What is the point of all these?
No more social mobility.
What is the point of having rich people donate to all these Republicans' political campaigns so that they can be their talking boxes? They're not listening to us. That's why they're in addition to that, they're trying to, for us, we're going to have to pay more because they're trying to say that states, because we live in California and other states like California, New York and stuff where there's a high state income tax. We deduct our state income tax from our federal taxes. So we tell the feds, look, we paid all this money to California, take that off from the amount that we need to pay you. Right. So they're saying, oh, no, that's not going to happen. So we can't, if they get their way, we're not going to be able to deduct the taxes that we pay on our state taxes. I mean, and they say, and we got a guy, Kevin McCarthy, he's up in the Central Valley. This guy, he's over here supposed to be representing Californians, and he's the Senate majority leader, the House majority leader, and he sits up there and says, well, the government can't be responsible for California's bad budgetary practices.
What?
And he's not even realizing that our taxes are going to go up because of him. And in California, we're a donor state.
Right.
We put more money into the federal coffers than we get back. So that means that we subsidize all those highways they got in Alaska and over there in Idaho and over there in Montana and stuff like that and all those places up there. We contribute to that. We don't get our fair share back, and now they're coming back at us saying, "Oh, well, you guys don't pay enough."
And we gotta pay more.
We need to give rich people more tax cuts on your back. So get used to it.
Oh my goodness, I'm
furious. What can we do?
Yeah, it's very infuriating.
What can we do?
It's infuriating.
All right, I'm done.
To fight this.
Whoa,
Jesus.
And I'm so glad that Darren gives us these updates every week because I personally do need to be better about staying up to date on a lot of these decisions. And I think being informed and being involved and invested in doing more community builders with our politicians and our politicians of color that are advocating for us, I think that's important, Like
most definitely, because if there's something that we can do to help, fight this, oh Lord, Jesus, I know my mic issues, Lord. Oh Lord.
Oh, damn it.
No, what I was saying is if there's something that we can do to help, fight against this,
that is the question. The issue is like in the Vietnam War, there was a common thing. It's like, oh, we're all against the war, man. What is it now? Oh, we got We got black people fighting for their rights. We got women fighting for their equality. We got economic
LGBT.
We got LGBTQ,
DACA.
right? We got the DACA people fighting for their rights.
Right.
We got the Pope people fighting for their rights. We got the homeless trying to get housed.
Oh.
You know,
You got white supremacists running the streets.
right. We got white supremacists.
Running the streets, beating up people, but
Right.
Trump ain't said nothing about that.
White
though.
lives matter.
Well, during last thing you
Oh,
said
okay.
that the grand jury indicted the first person
right.
related to Trump in the Russia probe.
Yeah, that was on Friday. So FBI Director Robert Mueller has a grand jury right now set up for the Russia investigation. So right now, they're progressing forward, and on Friday they indicted the first person underneath the grand jury. So everything is sealed. So we don't really know what or who they did or what they why they're being indicted. But to say the least, the case is progressing forward. So if anything tells me is that Trump is probably going to come out with a tweet talking mess about Robert Comey, or he's going to be talking mess about the FBI, or about Robert Mueller, because this guy's going down. He's going down.
You guys, we last week we announced that we would ask a question that was in depth.
Well, thank you, Jalen, for joining us.
Yes,
you
thank
are
you,
awesome.
Jalen.
Yeah, this is our time for our question
Yes, for our question
of the hour.
The question is religion versus spirituality. Which one?
Well, the question is, do you consider yourself religious
or
spiritual? And why or why not?
Do you consider yourself religious or spiritual?
Yeah, religious or spiritual. Why
Okay,
or why not?
well, I will go first. I would consider myself more spiritual. Being the fact that I have not, I don't usually go to church service. I haven't been to church.
Why haven't you been to church?
Oh, okay. Good question.
That's a great question. Because
Do you have a church home?
yes, I have a church home. My family church, Bethel Unspeakable Joy.
Christian
Shout out
Fellowship
to Beth
Incorporated.
Inc. Don't forget about the ink.
Okay. Right here on 87th and Central. But yeah, I haven't been consistently like I usually do because I just felt like I was just burnt out, on the regular schedule of going to church, being involved. Like I just needed a break. I just felt like I wanted a break.
Routine?
Yeah, it was too routine for me. And mind you, I mean, all of us we grew up in the church.
Yeah.
We will be at church Monday through Sunday.
Monday through Sunday. No lie.
No
Monday
lie,
through
really.
Sunday. We just talked about that.
It was always something that we were doing. So, not saying that I hated it because I loved it, and I don't know, I just wanted something different. But I always, read my scriptures, always pray. I always, I have that relationship with God, but I know it's important to fellowship with other believers. But I feel like I'm more spiritual because I have that personal relationship with God where I could go to Him, and in my time of doubt or in my time of, when I feel like I need some type of, I don't know, motivation, then I could, and I got mommy, I call mommy or I ask mommy about certain things, and then I go to Bridget's connection group.
That's good.
So I have, different people that I could reach out to. My family, if I'm going through something, I don't know.
You consider yourself spiritual?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Oh, Anthony.
What about you, Ann?
Again, growing up in the church, you find yourself in a place that's just super. You go through routine, like you said, Darren, and I think that portion of the routine and the fashion and the form is religious. So I grew up very religious.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was taught. That's all I knew. But today, I come to an understanding that God is not looking for me to be religious. God is not looking for me to be all in form and fashion. God is not looking for me to be all super into the church.
Yeah.
God is looking for me to have a relationship with Him. God is looking for me to have a personal connection with Him.
Right.
He is my Father. He is my Father. I came from Him. I am built in His image and His likeness. So my relationship with God is me and Him. It has nothing to do with nobody else.
Right.
What I do and how I do it is between me and God. He judges me based on the standard that He has set for me. So the question states that am I religious or spiritual? I'm very much so spiritual, but I have a relationship with the Father. Like Devin said, I talk to Him when I need to. I go to Him when I need to. I got friends, I got family members who understand a relationship with God and what that means. And if I need that kind of support, then I go to them and get that support. But I'm very much so a spiritual being. We were all spiritual beings from birth. Before we became flesh, we are spiritual beings.
Right.
And that is biblical. Religious, I don't have time. I don't have time for the religion. A lot of denominations, a lot of churches are so built on you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. No, God ain't called you to all of that. God called you to have a relationship with Him. And so that's what it is. Like, bottom line, get you a relationship with God.
Excellent. Great.
You can count on Anthony to quote a scripture real quick.
Okay.
I done gave out like 5 scriptures. Y'all didn't even know it. Didn't pull up no Bible. Yeah.
Rain down on me. Rain down on me.
That's an old school Kirk Franklin. He was in concert yesterday too.
Melodies from heaven.
What?
Rain down on me.
Ain't nothing like a good gospel song.
Right.
Okay.
Old school gospel.
Old school.
Arms and hold me close. Rain down. Oh, I'm supposed to be answering the question.
It's your
now.
turn.
It is your turn.
She got all spiritual.
Listen to me right now. Get into the song. Get into the song. For me personally, I agree with Anthony and Devin. I do think that I'm spiritual. I think religion was created by man's ego. And I do think that it has separated us more than unified us. However, I do believe that God exists and is a truth and is the truth in every single religion. Because I have studied the different religions. Judaism, Hinduism, Taoism, Taoism, Confucianism, Islam, Christianity. There is a truth of the Spirit of God.
Right.
In every
They
single
all
one
have
of them.
one common denominator.
If you read the Torah, if you read, what is the Islamic book?
Quran.
The Quran, if you read the Bible, each of them do have scriptures that surprisingly are very related. They each have a Messiah, or they each have somebody that's called down from the heavens to be the example for the people. And I do think that out of all of those, it is not my place as a human being to judge any other religion or any other, I would say, cultural religious ideals. That's not my place. My place is to have a relationship with God, just like Anthony was saying, and to love. Beyond anything is to love on everybody. So if another person has a different religion than me, I'm supposed to love them. And I'm supposed to love them beyond measure. And that is the love that God has placed in me, to not be judgmental, because that's not my place. And so I do consider myself spiritual, but I do believe in some of the sanctity of religion and the fact that God has inspired all of it.
Absolutely.
Well, no, I mean, it's I don't know how can I describe it. It's very interesting that we came up with this without even thinking about the historic anniversary that this year and this time is, because 500 years ago, around this time, Martin Luther went up to the Catholic Church, right? The seat of government. And he decided that he was gonna knock 95 theses onto the wooden door. And it was a disputation on the power of indulgences that the Catholic Church at the time in Germany was participating in, right? So Martin Luther was what we begin to call a Protestant. And our religion that we are in of Christianity, our sect, you know, because it's split off. It's, you know, you have Catholicism.
Right.
And you have Eastern Orthodoxy. People don't remember about that. Jalen, you can come over here and you can talk about how the Eastern Orthodoxy tradition of the Catholic Church is different from the Western Orthodoxy in terms of having the seat of the Catholic Church in Rome. So all we're talking about is religion, organized religion, and how it began to splinter off.
Which is tradition.
And form different things based off of tradition. And at a certain time, the Catholic Church had gotten so corrupt that they start taking indulgences, right? What were indulgences but ways to pay away your sin? Right, Jalen? Would you have something to add to that?
So basically, they'll give out these flyer things, and it's basically you could buy your way into heaven.
Oh.
Wow.
You could quote unquote buy your way into heaven.
Yeah.
So if you paid a certain amount, you got passed, and you could go into the gates would be open for you.
So the Catholic Church was taking your money to try to sell you a ticket into heaven without probably even teaching you the way to go.
Right.
Yes.
So who knows if you show up at the pearly gates saying that you paid your way.
Right.
That you said you paid your way when Jesus was supposed to have paid your ticket in the first place. You over here getting counterfeit tickets from these false prophets up here. So that's why Martin Luther had to knock them 95 theses. But even 500 years later,
come on, preacher.
So even 500 years later, so 500.
For me.
Oh, one day when I was lost, he died up on the cross, and I know it was the blood for me.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So anyway, but 500
500
years later, we find ourselves in the same precarious position where we have church hierarchies, where you have laypersons who do not know
They don't study.
the true word of the Spirit.
They want to just listen.
Not even academically trained to get people to that level of where they have a spiritual connection. They don't even have their degrees. Right. So what are they basing it off of? Did I already speak about this
earlier
on the show?
Yes.
Before we were recording? Or
maybe before, I can't
remember. I don't remember.
Sure.
But anyway, the whole point is that a lot of these people, based off of religion, because it's so organized, parts of that, the social structures of where you are, tribalism takes in its form in religion. So tribalism takes its shape in religion, right? So let's just think about that. If tribalism takes shape in religion, that means things such as racism, sexism, classism are being ingrained in those people who are indoctrinated inside of the four walls. That shouldn't even be of discussion, but because they've gotten it all twisted in the morality and in their values that they have created. And because they've had it for so long, because it's a part of their organized structure and in their tradition and rooted in their religion, that they don't know anything different. Right. They don't even know how to have their spirit man guide them because they haven't been taught that.
Right.
So that's what gets me. So to say in a sense that yes, I'm a spiritual person, I feel like a lot of us were introduced even to our spirituality through an organized form of religion. Through religion.
Because wasn't we talking about Pastor Carol and how she taught, like she was a teacher?
She is a teaching pastor. And she has her degree.
Yes.
She has her degree in theology. And
so she definitely planted a seed in us to want to study the word so we can apply it to our daily lives so we can continue to be God's people and love his people.
Absolutely.
So I definitely appreciate Pastor Carol for actually teaching us.
I agree.
I
think she definitely provided us a firm foundation.
Yes.
Not just based off of religion
Right.
and Christianity, but in building and cultivating and
Right.
I would say manifesting the Holy Spirit
Right.
within us.
Right.
I would say she made sure that we received the Holy Spirit
Exactly.
before, at a certain point in our own maturity and growth,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of investing in us in our lives. She was like, y'all gonna get this Holy Spirit.
Hello. Y'all gonna get it, okay?
Get this
Whether
Holy
you want it or
Spirit.
not, y'all gonna get this Holy
And I
Spirit,
also
okay?
think that it's really important, especially when it comes to when you say that you're a spiritual individual, and especially that, I mean, it's based on your own spiritual beliefs, of course, and what that looks like for yourself. But I think a lot of people like to shy away from who Jesus Christ is. You really, if you say you're spiritual, you believe in God, whatever the case may be, a lot of these other religions cast down who Jesus Christ is. And Jesus Christ himself is the Son of Man.
The Son of
He
Man.
is God as well. And so what we cannot do is negate the fact that Jesus Christ is not God. Jesus Christ is definitely God. And a lot of people get that confused. And I think one thing that Pastor Carol definitely taught us is belong to a church or a place where it is good, sound, biblical teaching. Even though you're a spiritual person, you don't connect yourself to religion, you still need to be in a circumstance or in a related to a church that is going to give you biblical teaching, proper biblical teaching. You can be spiritual and don't have to be religious. You got to be fed somehow. You got to be taught somehow. You got to be given the proper instruction somehow. Now, however you want to do that, however you get that, that's your business. That's your responsibility. But you need to be taught. If you don't know, then you won't know. You got to be taught somewhere. I'm so glad I belong to a church where my pastor is a teaching pastor as well. I think I got that seed from Pastor Carol. So when it comes to your spirituality, you need to be taught. You don't know everything. You don't. You don't know how to be spiritual. You need to be in somewhere that teaches you what it looks like to be a spiritual being.
Yes. Well, thank you all for contributing. That was a good question.
That was deep.
We got questions for you all every week. We got deep questions, deep, insightful questions.
Yeah. I wish just some gospel music would just sound like this is Albertina Walker. Sound like a little blues.
That's that old.
Just let make it wave your hand.
Make you rock.
Ahead,
make you rock like
that.
Make you rock.
Make you rock. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, you guys, we want to go into Roses and Thorns real quick.
Very quickly, we're going to end out the show. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to finish watching this Dodgers game. I just want to say that I had a wonderful week. It's been awesome. I'm excited to go to Hawaii this week with my big sister to celebrate her upcoming 40th birthday.
We don't even want to talk about it. We don't even want to talk about it.
Devin and Anthony were supposed to come.
We were definitely there.
I'm just being responsible. Okay, I'm being responsible.
But I'm so excited to celebrate my big sister and to go out there for work. So I'm excited. That is what I'm
Nikki
excited
celebrates her birthday this week.
Happy birthday, Nikki.
Happy early birthday, Nikki.
Who's on it? Who's Rosie?
Oh, Rosie Thorns. Okay, let me
Very quickly.
Quick. Okay, so I have had a couple days off of work, and that's because so that's the thorn. Kind of off work, not really getting paid right now. Roses, I have gotten a promotion at work.
Yay!
And Amtrak, what a blessing. Shout out to Amtrak. They're just, the opportunity is there and I'm taking it,
Right.
I've been promoted to an on-the-job trainer, and so I start, that's the reason why I cannot go to Hawaii, because my on-the-job training for my first class of new employees start next week. And so I'm going on a training trip on the 1st to just kind of prepare me for that training. So I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Promotion.
3 years, almost 3 years in, and it's been amazing.
It's been almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. It's going on 3 years. Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm excited. So that's my piece.
My roses, I can't complain. Work week's cool. I'm breathing. We're just doing roses, right? Okay.
Those ones,
All right. Devin's good. All right, Darren, close this out.
Well, I mean, it's been an interesting week. I mean, I feel like learning as well as feeling grounded. You know, I feel like I mean, this week was not as much, but enough for me to get through. Yeah, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about moving into next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we forgot. Me and Anthony, we danced today.
Oh, great.
We did minister today.
We ministered
Absolutely.
today.
It was
We
really
ministered
good.
today. We helped. Well, I helped Anthony yesterday teach miming at the children's encounter at the church, our church, Bethlehem Speakable Joy. And that was a great experience. You definitely have to have patience. And the children, they definitely surprised us today because we didn't think that they would actually retain the movements, and surprisingly, they showed out today, and that was a good thing. I haven't praise dance or that was my first time actually miming, but I haven't danced in a while, so
That's what's up.
Great.
That was
Awesome.
Teach the youth the ways.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to catch us next week.
Thank you.
Y'all good
All
night.
our ways.
In all our ways, acknowledge.
Wait, trust in the Lord.
Right,
Trust in
y'all.
the Lord.
Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Thank you.
Proverbs. Okay, go ahead.